get us going. Let's see if we got any problems.
We don't have the Warriors football promo.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's the least of our issues. Don't worry. Move on. Just play something else.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4.
They're a little overmodulated.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the campus of Dort University. It is a beautiful Saturday morning, an early morning, as we are live on the Dort Media Network, and we're going to bring you the Sunflower Cross Country Open presented by Holiday Inn Express. This is the first meet of the season for the Dort Cross Country teams, and an exciting time for these runners and for head coach Nate Wolf as they get their 2023 season started. We're very happy to have this available on the Dort Media Network. Thank you for joining us. The email address is matt.boss@dort.edu. If you want to send us an email and get you a shout out, we can do that for you. This is a busy day for Defender Athletics. It all starts at 10 a.m. with the women's 5K race, and then followed by the men at around 10:45. The day doesn't stop there, though, because it is the home football opener for the Defender football team. That is a 1 p.m. kickoff as they take on Mount Marty, another game that will be live on the Dort Media Network, and Mike Biker will have the call also on the radio in the play-by-play, 106.9 KIHK for that. Oh, but there's more, as the Defender volleyball team will play host to Northwestern in a GPAC volleyball match at the DeWitt Gym. That is a 3:30 start for the JV, varsity at 5, and both of those games will also be live on the Dort Media Network. So it's a busy day for Defender Athletics, lots of home events, but we're excited to have those for you all on the Dort Media Network. Speaking of which, it is also a big weekend for the Dort Media Network, as this is kind of a fundraising weekend for the Dort Media Network. And there on your screen, you see a QR code that you can scan, and you can help support the Dort Media Network, which allows us to bring you these athletic events. For those of you who are far away and aren't able to come, it's just a great way to stay connected with Dort University. So please scan that QR code if you would like to support the Dort Media Network. Let's talk a little bit about the cross-country teams here. First, we'll talk about the Defender women. Head coach Nate Wolf, he is the coach for both teams. He is in his 9th season as the Defender cross-country coach. Also helps with track and field. As I said, this is the first meet of the 2023 season for the Defender women and men, coming off an outstanding 2022 campaign for both teams. The women, they were the GPAC champion for the 3rd straight year. They finished 8th at the NEI Championship, which was down in Tallahassee, Florida. That was their 3rd straight top 10 finish at the national meet, led by Jessica Campman, who was an All-American for the 3rd straight year. And the women open the year. They are the GPAC favorite. They're picked to win it all in the conference, and they are ranked 7th in the preseason poll. Individually, 20 runners returned from last season, including 5 all-conference runners. Those are Jessica Campman, who was the GPAC champion. Christine Hunemichael was 4th a year ago. Lucy Borkowski, Molly Mulder, and Annika Holman. That is a little bit about the women's team. Let's talk about the men as well. The men, of course, the defending national champions. And what a year it was for the 2022 season for the Dort men under head coach Nate Wolf. Not only did they win their 5th straight conference championship, they went down to Tallahassee, ranked 3rd, and they came home with a national championship. The first ever team title in Dort program history. What a race it was down in Tallahassee. I had the privilege of just seeing it in person, and it was an awesome experience. 4 All-Americans, led by Joe Anderson, 13th place. Davis Tebben was 17th. Peter Shippey, one of the heroes of that day. He rallied. He had a great closing half of the race, finished 18th, and then Eric Steiger 23rd. But an outstanding season for the men. A lot is expected of them as well this year as they open the season ranked 2nd in the nation. They are the GPAC favorite as well. In terms of returners, they returned 19 runners from last season, 4 all-conference runners returning. And those all-conference runners, of course, are Thaniel Schrader, who's in his 5th season with the Defenders, Aiden Vorster, and also Ethan Summerhays and Sam May are the 4 returning all-conference runners, and 3 of those guys competed down at Nationals. So the Defender men and the Defender women, highly ranked. They are the GPAC favorite, and it should be an outstanding season for both teams. We're going to take our first break. We'll come back, and we'll take a closer look at this meet itself, who's competing against the Defenders, and more about the course and the race. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back after this.
We understand how complex the financial landscape can be to navigate. Our goal is to free up your hands so that you can focus on what is most important in life.
This broadcast also brought to you by Vision Realty. We are polished, experienced, and professional, offering excellence every step of the way. We are the vision you can trust.
And brought to you by Pizza Ranch, buffet, carry out, or delivery.
And brought to you by Ployne Publishing, quality printing from design to delivery. Ployne Publishing.
American State Bank is celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we couldn't have made it this far without your support. For us, banking just scratches the surface. We pride ourselves in our commitment to our communities, building meaningful relationships with our customers, and doing our best to have some fun along the way. We're proud to be a locally owned and operated bank, supporting the communities we serve. Thank you for choosing American State Bank. We can't wait to see what the next 50 years have in store.
This Dort Media Network broadcast is brought to you by Sioux Concrete Construction, Rob Suin, owner, excelling in flat work, poured walls, decorative concrete projects, dedicated to providing customers with a good experience and quality workmanship. SiouxConcrete.com.
And brought to you by Huber's Plumbing and Heating. Whether you're looking for repairs, replacement, or maintenance for your air conditioning or heating system, Huber's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning in Orange City will exceed your expectations.
And welcome back to the campus of Dort University. We are on the Defender Cross Country course, awaiting the start of the Sunflower Open, presented to you by Holiday Inn Express. We're live on the Dort Media Network, and a busy day for Defender Athletics, and it all gets underway here with the women's 5K race at 10 a.m. Of course, the women, they'll be competing in a 6K. This is one of the few 5Ks that the women will run. The GPAC Championship will switch to a 6K. The NEI Championship is also a 6K, so that's one change. In terms of the overall field, there are 9 women's teams competing here this morning, 7 of which are part of the Great Plains Athletic Conference. Those include Briar Cliff, Dakota Wesleyan, Morningside, Mount Marty, Northwestern, and College of St. Mary. 2 teams from the Northern Sun NCAA Division II Conference, that is University of Sioux Falls and also Wayne State. That is the competition. And in terms of some individual runners, in addition to the defenders that we talked about, Morningside's Courtney Spohr returns as a national qualifier. She was the top runner for the Mustangs last week at Augie. A lot of these teams competed at the Augustana Twilight last weekend. Dort chose not to. Northwestern, they have 2 returning runners who qualified for nationals. Emily Haverdink, she was the GPAC runner-up, finished 51st at nationals last year. Caitlin Alberts also returns for the Red Raiders. And then also USF has got a really good returner. That is Hot Wok. She was an all-conference runner. She was the first runner in USF history to ever qualify for the NCAA championships, which took place out at University Place, Washington. Again, 9 teams, roughly around 124 women's runners will make the field, or are in the field today. Dort is the GPAC favorite, of course. Dort and Concordia and Hastings, 3 teams from the conference who are all recognized by the NAI. Concordia was in the top 25. Hastings was receiving votes. Dort also comes in at number 7. And again, Dort has 5 returning all-conference runners and a host of newcomers who are excited to run. They've put in a lot of time and effort in the preseason. They reported to campus early, and they've had a couple of good weeks of training, and they're excited to run here this morning on their home course. And looking out at the prairie, beautiful wildflowers out there. It's a beautiful time here on campus, and the temperatures, it's not too hot, kind of overcast to keep the temperatures down. We're looking forward to an outstanding morning of cross country. Dort, of course, won the women's team championship last year at the Sunflower Open, as did the men, but we'll talk more about the men here in a moment. We're going to take one more break, and then we'll have the start of this women's 5K race. More from the Dort Media Network and Defender Cross Country in a moment.
At Premier Communications, we're all about connection. Connecting you to all the entertainment, work, and family you love with our phone, internet, cable TV, and tech support services. And now, that connection has gotten even faster with internet speeds up to 1 gig. Experience the next level of connection with Premier Communications. Visit us online at mypremieronline.com or call toll-free 800-741-8351. Premier Communications. Looking ahead.
Thanks to these Dort Media Network sponsors, Ski Bout Window and Door, your local window experts. Whether building or replacing, we have the products, people, and knowledge to get the job done right. See Ski Bout and see the difference. Ski Bout Window and Door.
Thanks to M&H True Value. Behind every project is a true value. Start right, start here. M&H True Value.
So the new generation of leadership has really benefited from the benevolency of the past leadership.
We were busy from the get-go. They knew who I was, they know my name, they know my first name, they know my parents. It's a small town community with big town amenities. We're privileged to be able to support a place like the Jimmy John's and other franchises like it.
We focus on being a multi-generational boutique to reach as many women in town here that we can. Our goal is just to be a place that can empower women and also just have like the joys of fashion and just a place in town here that brings high fashion into our small town.
Seems like everyone is looking for ways to expand. People are talking about how to grow their businesses, where to find the people to grow their businesses, and just looking to the next best thing out there, whatever their field might be, including ours.
The biggest thing is the city is always growing and investing in the future, which is great to see as a business owner because you know it's not going away anytime soon. You can really put down roots here.
Today's broadcast brought to you by Beaver Eye Care, serving Sioux Center and the surrounding communities for over 30 years. Come see Dr. Paul Beaver, Dr. Dan Klausing, or Dr. Reese Beaver for all your comprehensive eye care needs. This broadcast also brought to you by Vision Realty. We are polished, experienced, and professional, offering excellence every step of the way. We are the vision you can trust.
Live look in at near the start of the race. Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to Dort University Defender Cross Country course awaiting the start of the Sunflower Open, sponsored by Holiday Inn Express. Women's 5K race just moments away. It is a 10 a.m. start. We're about 2 minutes away from this women's 5K. It'll be 2 laps around this course for the women. The men, of course, will run an 8K, but the women will have a 5K, 2 laps around, and we'll describe the course as it happens, but its course is in great shape. We've had a little bit of construction here, and over the years it has changed somewhat, but yeah, should be an outstanding day for cross country. The field again: Briarcliff, Dakota Wesleyan, Dort, Morningside, Mount Marty, Northwestern, USF, College of St. Mary, and Wayne State. 9 total teams scheduled to run, around 124 runners in this women's race. Dort is the defending champion. They won the title last year. Some of your top runners, we mentioned them earlier. For the women's side, Jessica Campman, now Jessica Walzak, senior from Abbotsford, British Columbia, 3-time All-American for the defenders. Northwestern, Emily Haverdink, Caitlin Alberts. And there is the start, and a great shot by the drone for you. This is a long straightaway, mostly downhill. They are running away from where we are situated in the soccer press box. This is a nice long straightaway. And the start of the race is underway. Jessica Campman, the top returning runner for the defenders. One of 5 all-conference runners returning for Dort. Christine Hanemichael, in her second season running for Dort, transferred in from Morningside a year ago. Lucy Borkowski, Molly Mulder, Annika Holman has earned all-conference honors multiple years for the defenders. In a moment, you will see the lead runners do a sharp right turn. They'll be heading up East First Street on the far south side of the Defender cross-country course. Top runners, anticipating them to come in with about a time of 18 minutes or so. That's a guess, but that's about what I'm expecting in this women's 5K race. And thank you so much for joining us here on the Dort Media Network. And it's a busy day for Defender Athletics, a big home day. Home football coming up at 1 p.m. And then the women's volleyball will play Northwestern, 3:30 JV, 5 p.m. start time for the varsity. Lead pack there of runners just made the right turn. They will do another right turn and head back the way they came, but now they're going to be going uphill, probably to the most challenging part of this course. Lead pack, already some separation. It looks to be like a lead pack of 9. And I believe that is Jessica Walzak for the defenders out in front. USF with Hot Walk. She was a national qualifier last year for USF. She was second place last week at the Augie Twilight. Second overall individual. Talented runner from USF. A junior now. So it's Campman and Hwak up front. Now a long uphill. Good shot by the drone. Looking back towards campus. You can see some of the defender dorms with the drone. Doing an outstanding job, the Dort Media Network. And there is the QR code once again. You can scan that code if you want to support the Dort Media Network. It's a big weekend. If you want to support them, just scan that QR code and it should take you to a screen where you can give towards the Dort Media Network. Front pack of 4 leading the way there. Walzak for Dort. With the lead. Walzak with the lead. I believe that is USF in second. Defenders coached by Nate Wolf, the NEI Coach of the Year on men's cross-country side. Led the Defender men to the national title. He's in his 9th season with the Defender cross-country program. His assistant, Jesse Veenstra, is tuning in from France. He's getting ready to compete in the Ironman World Champs. That sounds like a lot of fun, Coach Veenstra. Bethany Tenhaken, also part of the coaching staff. She's a GA, former runner for the cross-country and Defender track and field teams. Give a shout-out to the Dort Media Network crew, Tyler Vandermolen, the director today, and their fearless leader, Rich Lodewijk, of course. Women's 5K, again, the women, they're switching to a 6K. NCAA has already made the switch. They've run a 6K for a number of years, but the NEI is following, and they will run a 6K at the championship level, meaning the conference championship and the NEI championship. Today, the women, it'll be a 5K. Most of the Defender races after this one will be 6K. Defenders making their season debut. A lot of these teams competed last weekend at the Augie Twilight up in Sioux Falls. The Defenders did not. Good shot of the field of runners. You're tuning into the Sunflower Open presented by Holiday Inn Express. Again, the field of runners, 124 women's runners representing 9 teams, a couple unattached runners, meaning that they're kind of running for a school, but maybe they're sitting out, so they're running unattached. They won't count towards the team score, team standings. And the women's 5K, again, it's 2 laps plus a little bit in terms of the women's 5K. Email address is matt.boss@dort.edu. Let us know where you're listening from. Shot with the drone in the back of the cross-country course. Those runners that you're seeing on the screen, they're running back towards campus now. That's the most challenging part of this course. It's the uphill. And the Defenders, Jessica Walzak. I knew I was going to do it at least once. Jessica Walzak, formerly Jessica Campman. Coming up on the, coming around here towards the press box area. In terms of the GPAC, the conference meet is going to be at Briar Cliff in North Sioux City. And the Defenders will run there during the regular season, kind of a mid-season meet at October 7. They'll run on the same course. November 4 is the conference championship. NEI championship will be November 17. And there is your leader right there. That is Jessica Walzak with the lead, along with the USF girl, young lady. Hot Walk has taken over the lead. About a 10-meter lead over Jessica Walzak from Dort. So it's USF with the lead. Walzak second as they come by. Good group of fans right behind now the press box area. And so your lead group, the lead pack has completed 1 lap. And it's USF in the lead with Walk, followed closely by Walzak for the Defenders. There's Jessica Opfer for the Defenders, Lucy Borkowski, Christine Hanemichael, Wayne State runner Brooke Solomon, running close to the front of the pack, running well. Molly Mulder for the Defenders. Jada Kerner, a talented freshman for the Defenders. Emma Haley for Northwestern. Your leader from USF is Huak, and she is going down the home straightaway. Walzak for the Defenders, chasing, running 1-2. Elianda for the defenders running by. Big crowd on hand behind us here by the soccer press box. That's kind of control room central, if you will. Addison Essabaggers for Dort just went by. As the runners completing their first lap, they will have one more lap to go for the women's 5K. Abigail Ruse for the defenders, wearing the bib number 724. You can see her on the screen there. Sophomore from Alaska, running well. This is the first meet for the defenders. They've had, probably 3 weeks of training by now. They reported a week early before class started. Shout out to Nicholas Veldhorst, tuning in from Seattle. Outstanding runner for the defenders. Shout out to Katie Winslow as well from Culver City, California. She is the proud mom of another defender runner, Eden Winslow, who competed a couple years ago. Thank you for your email. Keep them coming. Again, we're live on the Dort Media Network, the Defender Sunflower Open. This is the women's 5K race, right in the middle of it. Less than one lap to go for the front group, for the front of the pack. Last time we saw the leaders, it was USF with Huac with the lead. And there's a shot at the lead cart, and Huac with the lead, running back towards campus. This is the uphill area. Good shot at the Dort Prairie in the background. What a beautiful course this is. We are truly blessed to have such a beautiful course. And again, on the screen is the QR code. If you want to support the Dort Media Network, scan the code that you see on your screen right now and help support the Dort Media Network, which makes this production possible, both the video piece, the audio piece, a lot of student workers, and the fearless leader, Rich Lodewijk, of course, is the director. And there's a shot at your leaders. It's USF's Huac out with the lead. Walzak for the defenders. Jessica Walzak running a solid second right now. It's a two-person race with the junior Huac from USF and Walzak. Two national qualifiers a year ago. Mentioned it earlier, but Huac from USF, she was the first ever national qualifier at USF. She's back for her junior season. She finished 48th last year at Nationals out in Washington. She was the runner-up earlier this year at the Augie Twilight. That's a big meet. Lots of talented runners. She was the runner-up a week ago. She's running solid here. She has the lead as we approach the home stretch for the two leaders, Huac and Walzak. Lots of fans in attendance as well. As always, cross-country teams here very well supported. Shot of the course in the back. They're coming back towards campus. In terms of your competitions, Dort will be competing in 5 regular season meets. The GPAC meet postseason on November 4. The 5 meets that Dort will be competing in. Sunflower Open is today. Then they're going to compete as a split squad, September 22. 2 weeks off at the Wildcat Classic down at Wayne State, and then the GRIAC, that's up in the Twin Cities area. October 7, sort of a GPAC preview at Briar Cliff. And then October 21, that's a new one on the schedule. It's called the Flaming Tiger NAI Classic. I believe that is in Mahoney State Park down in Nebraska. And then another 2 weeks off, you have the conference championship, then the NAI championship. So those meets packed into about a 2.5 month season of competition. Your lead group now coming back towards the finish line, start line area. Again, the women, 2 laps around this course. The men will have 3. The men will be running at 8K. The men's race will start around 10:45. We're about 14 minutes into this women's 5K. Your leaders anticipate them finishing up in about 4 minutes or so. Shout out to Terry Boss tuning in from Orange City, Iowa. Jordan DeGroat tuning in from the Iowa City area. About 15 minutes have gone by. Your leaders should be coming by. There's the finish line, a shot at the finish line. And the finish line chute. Nice long straightaway at the finish, and it's a downhill. So if you can make it up the little push by the press box area. The legend of Peter Shippey has just walked by getting ready for the men's race. Excited to watch the great Peter Shippey for the defenders. And there is your lead 2 runners. It is still Hwak from USF, Walzak for Dort closing in. And they are coming by the press box area. From here, it's probably about a quarter mile. Your leader, Hwak, coming towards the finish line area. Walzak for Dort, running a solid second. There's Jessica Walzak, the 3-time All-American for the defenders, running strong, competing for the first time. USF's Hot Hwak from USF, approaching the finish line area, followed by Walzak. Another USF runner, running third. See if we can get her bib number. Looks like 833. That would be Morgan Gale, returner for the Cougars. She's running in third place, so USF, there's a shot at the finish line. And Hwak for USF, there it is. She is going to be your individual champion, the junior from USF. Hot Hwak wins the women's 5K today. The Defender Sunflower Open, presented to you by Holiday Inn Express. Jessica Walzak running second. She will be the second place runner. It's those two, and then a big separation. We'll try to pull up the time as soon as Dakota timing, which brings you the live results. 17:30 is the winning time by Hot Hwak from USF. 17:30, here comes USF. I believe this is Morgan Gale. She will run third for the Cougars. Jessica Campman, time of 17:48. Gale comes in next. Morgan Gale, 18:20. Pretty soon the finish line area will get very busy as it starts. And Courtney Spohr of Morningside returning national qualifier. There's Emily Hoverdink from Northwestern coming in. Spohr from Morningside, a qualifier a year ago for the national meet. She finishes fourth. Maddie Swanson of USF, fifth. Here comes Lucy Borkowski for the defenders. Christine Hanemichael for the defenders. As now it's going to get pretty busy at the finish line area. Molly Mulder, talented sophomore, all-conference runner for the defenders coming in. There's Taylor Drogue coming in for the defenders. Strong finish for Drogue. Live results, courtesy of Dakota Timing. We have a link on our website to view them. The winning time is 17:30. Hot Hwak from USF. Jessica Campman from Dort. Jessica Walzak now was second, followed by Morgan Gale of USF. Courtney Sporer with a solid race for Morningside was fourth. Jessica Opfer for the defenders, right now fifth. These are unofficial. Emily Haberdink from Northwestern, the top Red Raider, top 10 finish. And the finish line area. We'll pause for a little bit. These are unofficial results as Dakota Timing. Emma Haley for Northwestern comes by. Courtney Joyner. Sadie Fike for the defenders. A couple of Dort runners coming in to finish. There's Whitney Minderhoud for the defenders. Unofficial results right now. Your top 10. Christine Hanemichael for Dort. Lucy Borkowski, 9th. Annika Aho of USF. Maddie Swanson of USF. Emily Haberdink, Jessica Opfer for Dort. Courtney Sporer of Morningside. Morgan Gale of USF. Jessica Campman for Dort. And Hot Hwak from USF. We'll just let the finish line camera go here as the runners continue to finish. In a little bit, we're going to pause and we'll probably have an interview and with Mike Biker, and I believe President Hoekstra will be on the mic. I'm going to take a break for the audio as we get set up, and we'll let the camera focus on the finish line area, and we'll set up this interview coming up next on the Dort Media Network. Thank you for joining us.
I can't move, so you need to move.
Where? Should I just go up on this level maybe, or
Here.
like this?
How about like this?
Like that?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We are involved in the Dort Media Network Giving Day today, and I'm joined today by Micah Koister. She's involved in athletic fundraising. And Micah, this day, Dort Media Network Giving Day, it's meant more as an educational process for many of the people who have been able to watch the Dort Media Network over the past several seasons. Your family, from a little further away while you were running track and field, able to take advantage of that and watch. What does it mean to people from a distance to be able to watch a quality broadcast?
Yes, we are very grateful for our Dort Media Network team that we've been able to produce all of these events throughout the year. And for international students such as myself, people from far away, it means a lot that they're able to still keep up, support, see such a quality broadcast. And particularly from the track and field side of things, I've heard so many times that even at our largest meets that we compete at, their live streams, their audio productions still don't compete with what Dort does. So it's really such a blessing to have such a great production here.
And part of you're getting a behind the scenes look at what it now takes to make this happen. You've seen the equipment, you've seen the students, and this endeavor began 5 and 6 years ago where we had a single camera operator. Now we have a student pool of upwards of 30 individuals doing this, and we just want to make people aware that there's an educational process to it, but there's also some real costs involved with this.
Yes, so over the last 5 years, like you mentioned, Mike, we have developed from a one camera system to now we have a production truck. We have several full-time staff members, including student workers. We have multiple cameras, and we are able to produce multiple athletic events on one day, as today is an example of. Later on, we'll have volleyball and football, both here at Dort, so we are very busy today.
2 races today, 2 junior varsity and a varsity volleyball match later this afternoon. Football obviously kicking off at 1 o'clock. And we're grateful and we're thankful for the support that we've received. Businesses have sponsored to be involved and partner with us as well, and we're grateful for that. And throughout this today, you're going to see a QR code on the screen, and if viewers are so inclined, you can scan that QR code or visit the Dort website, and there are opportunities to give.
Yes, we're very grateful for all of our business sponsors that help us to put on all of the productions through the Dort Media Network. However, with our staff members, our growing student workers who are not volunteers, they are paid for their positions as they're getting real field experience, and we want to compensate that. And we're also trying to expand, build our equipment, constantly upgrade that as well. So altogether, that adds up to something like a $250,000 endeavor every year. So we are looking to also find listener support as well. We want to keep this broadcast as excellent as it is and even improve it. And we also want to keep it free. So we need help to do that.
Right, and some schools have elected to go behind paywalls. We haven't had to do that at this point, but there is real cost involved, and those are options that somewhere down the road, if we need to, those are options that may need to be in place. But for right now, our hope is to continue to make this a free endeavor. Micah, I'll let you go enjoy the race. We're going to get back to the men's coverage shortly. And again, that QR code on your screen throughout the week, throughout this weekend, cross country, football, volleyball. If you feel so inclined, scan that QR code, and there are donation possibilities there for you. All right, thanks, Micah. things happen there, Kyle. He was probably come back out of the timeout. A hand fight in the corner. Levi jungling. Circus easy by any stretch. Hand off to Rouch, and Rouch. Nothing there in Sam Anderson.
Today's Dort Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dort University.
And brought to you by Pizza Ranch, buffet, carry out, or delivery.
Joyner and Svort Dentistry, providing the latest in dental technology in a warm, comfortable, and relaxing environment. And brought to you by Ployne Publishing, quality printing from design to delivery. Ployne Publishing.
Today's Dort Media Network livestream broadcast is produced by the students of Dort University. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Prairie Life Chiropractic, combining skill and expertise that spans the entire chiropractic, acupuncture, and physical health spectrum. They want you to move better and live better.
And today's live stream broadcast brought to you by Verhoof Automotive. Verhoof Automotive in Sioux Center is your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevrolet, and Buick dealer. Verhoof Automotive, worth the drive from anywhere.
Defenders get it back. Langmeyer cross court. Got it again. One-on-one with the keeper. Is that Stewart? No, it's Tell. Karina Tell. Here comes Dort. One-on-one with the keeper, and the shot is made and a goal scored. Now she'll cross it in. On the goal, and beautiful header. Who was it?
Hello fans of Defender Sports, hope you're enjoying the game whether you're a friend or family member of a player or coach or a fan of the university. These players and coaches have put in hours and hours of practice, and it shows. But going into each and every game, there's one more thing that every coach makes sure the team has, and that's a game plan. If these players and coaches are willing to put this much time into planning for a game, how much more important is putting together a game plan for your financial life? Now, the financial world continually becomes more complicated, but if you don't have either the time or the desire to spend hours upon hours learning and keeping up with the changing rules of the game in the financial world, and then figuring out how that applies specifically to your financial life, you don't have to do it alone. For over 40 years, we've been helping households to build their financial game plan upon all the things more important than finances, while being good stewards of the resources God has entrusted to their care. Because there's things in life more important than money, and none of them are things. I'm Tom DeYoung, financial planner and president of Money Concepts, the planning firm. Check us out on the web or social media. Check out our podcast at moneyconceptsradio.com or your favorite podcast app, or schedule a complimentary meeting to see how a financial game plan might benefit you. Enjoy the rest of the game, and remember to spend your most valuable resources, your time and your attention, on the things in life that matter more than money.
And welcome back to the campus of Dort University. It is the site of the Sunflower Open, presented to you by Holiday Inn Express. The conclusion of the women's 5K race as we completed the first of two races. Results are still a little unofficial, but we do have the overall individual winner, Hot Hwak from USF, time of 17:30. Jessica Campman. Walzak for Dort was second. I can tell you that it looks like that there are 8 defender runners in the top 15, led by Walzak with a second-place finish. Other defender runners in the top 15, Jessica Opfer, a 5th-place finish, a career best time of 18:45. Lucy Borkowski, 9th place, 19:05. Christine Hanemichael for Dort, 10th place, 19:07. Molly Mulder for the defenders, 19:17. Isabel Webb, a great first race for the freshman, 19:23, 14th place finish. Taylor Drogue was Taylor Anima, 15th place, 19:24. Jada Kerner from Dort, another very good freshman for Coach Nate Wolf, 19:28, was in 16th place. In terms of the team score, that's the one that's kind of fluctuating down on the bottom of the results page, and those have fluctuated a bit. Right now it looks like USF with 36 points is the team winner, but again, these are unofficial. Dort second at 38 points. Your top 10 women's finishers, let's just run down the complete list. Christine Hanemichael from Dort, 10th place. Lucy Borkowski, 9th from Dort. 8th place, Annika Aho of USF. 7th place, Maddie Swanson of USF. 6th place, Emily Haverdink of Northwestern. 5th place, Jessica Opfer from Dort. 4th place, Courtney Spohr of Morningside. 3rd place, Morgan Gale of USF. 2nd place, Jessica Walzak of Dort. And the winner, your individual winner, Hot Hwak from USF, time of 17:30.4. Check on that time, and that is a course record. Record previously held by Michelle Mumm from Morningside back in 2017. So congratulations to Hwak, who not only was your individual champion, now is the record setter here on the Defender Cross Country course. We're going to take a break. We'll set the stage for the upcoming men's 8K race. Here we go. More from the Dort Media Network in a moment.
Today's Dort Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dort University. Thanks for watching.
This Dort Media Network broadcast is brought to you by Sioux Concrete Construction, Rob Suen, owner, excelling in flat work, poured walls, decorative concrete projects, dedicated to providing customers with a good experience and quality workmanship. SiouxConcrete.com.
Today's Dort Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dort University. Thanks for watching. Today's broadcast brought to you by German Farmers Mutual, protecting the farm and home since 1981. Northwest Iowa's local insurance partner, online at germanfarmers.com. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Northside Body Shop. When you expect the very best in the repair of your vehicle, call Northside Body Shop Limited today, serving the Sioux Center area since 1955. 712-722-2313.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Van Engelenhoven Agency, your trusted independent insurance agency throughout Northwest Iowa. Contact the Van Engelenhoven Agency's Sioux Center advisors Mark Holsoff or Lisa Dykstra.
Out of the timeout, a hand fight in the corner. Levi jungling, Circus easy by any stretch. Hand off to Rouch, and Rouch, nothing there, and Sam Anderson.
campus of Dort University, site of the Sunflower Classic. Dort's home cross-country meet presented to you by Holiday Inn Express. Conclusion of the women's race. We are getting ready to start the men's 8K race momentarily. Again, I'd like to just remind our listeners and viewers, busy day here on campus for Dort Athletics. Football plays their home opener. That is a 1 p.m. start time against Mount Marty, another GPAC game. The Defenders, a big win last week over Doane. They are trying to improve to 2-0 as they host Mount Marty. That'll be live on the Dort Media Network. Mike Biker on the call. And then later today, early evening, Dort plays host to Northwestern. GPAC volleyball showdown JV match at 3:30, followed by the varsity at 5 p.m. All events will be on the Dort Media Network. And again, it is a big fundraising opportunity for the Dort Media Network. As we show you a QR code, it is on your screen if you would like to support and give towards the Dort Media Network, which makes these broadcasts possible. Just scan that QR code and give and support the Dort Media Network. Speaking of which, I'd like to give a shout out to Tyler. He is the director today. Also to Lynn Marie on the camera, and then DeVries Films is on the drone. So we'd like to support them and give them a shout out as well. And of course, their fearless leader, Rich Lodewijk, Mike Biker, also is part of the Dort Media Network. Shout out to Henry and Pam Van Zanten tuning in from Mount Vernon, Washington. They're going to watch their son, Devin, run. He's getting ready to compete here in the men's 8K. Men's 8K race. We have 8 teams. Approximately 100 runners in the men's race. Some of the key individuals to keep an eye on: Dakota Wesleyan, Caleb Saylor. He was a national qualifier a year ago, all-conference runner from Dakota Wesleyan, now in his junior season. Competed well last week at the Augie. He was in the top third of the field in a big field up at Augie. For the Defenders, Peter Shippey, returning All-American. Track and field, he had a great year as well. He won the national title in the steeplechase. He returns for another season, as does Daniel Schroeder for the Defenders. Ethan Summerhays, Sam May, Aiden Vorster, all conference runners returning for the Defenders, and Coach Wolf. And the Defenders won the national championship last year, won their 5th straight conference title. For Morningside, they were led last week by Garrett Hansen up at Augie. Northwestern, Trey Engelman, Alex Nonhoff, and Ben Vandenberg were the top 3 runners for the Red Raiders last week at Augie as well. USF, they were led by Ben Morrison. USF, they were picked to finish 3rd in the Northern Sun Conference after a runner-up finish in the conference last year, led by Ben Morrison. He had a 15th place finish last week at Augie. Makati Shumway, also a talented runner for USF. He already has the 4th fastest time in program history. And then for Wayne State, another team from the Northern Sun Conference, picked to finish 9th on the men's side. They're led by Titus Kiptu, who was placed 37th at the conference championship last year. So those are your 8 teams. Once again, Briarcliff, Dakota Wesleyan, Dort, Morningside, Mount Marty, Northwestern, USF, and Wayne State. Approximately 100 runners for this 8K race, which should get underway here shortly. The women's race was 2 laps around. This one will be 3. And again, the Defenders, Nate Wolf in his 9th season, assisted by Jesse Veenstra, who's overseas, going to compete in an Ironman triathlon over in Nice, France. Assisted by Bethany Tenhaken, a GA. Should know that name, Defender fans. National champion a couple of times in the 4x8. She ran cross country and track for the Defenders, now a GA under head coach Nate Wolf. Men's 8K, and there's a good look with the drone, and DeVries Films running the drone. Good look at the start of this men's 8K race. And again, it's the same course. They'll just do 3 laps. Nice long straightaway to start. Good chance to spread out. The women, right from the get-go, there was probably a lead pack of 5 or 6 runners at the end of this long straightaway. Men looks to be a little bit tighter, especially early here. 3 laps around for this men's 8K race. We talked about the schedule for the women. The Dort men will have 4 weekends where they will compete, starting with this one, the Sunflower Open. The Dort men will then compete as a split squad. Some will go to Wayne, Nebraska to compete in the Wildcat Classic. Others will head to the Twin Cities for the GRIAC Invite. That is on September 22. 2 more meets in October to prepare for the conference meet. First one at Briarcliff on October 7. That's an important one just because that's where the GPAC Championship is going to be. In North Sioux City. It'll be at Briarcliff. That's on October 7. The next one is the new meet on the schedule. October 21, the Flaming Tiger NAI Classic. And then you have the Conference Championship on November 4. 2 weeks later, the NAI Championship, which will be in Washington once again. And there is a shot at the pack of men's runners as they make the turn and head back towards campus. This is the uphill stretch. And yes, every year before, in preparation for this, I do run the route just to become familiar with it. And yeah, Matt, the SID, was struggling on this stretch because it's an uphill stretch. Last year, I even said what my time was, but I'm not going to disclose that information this year because I'm getting older and older. My time goes slower and slower, but I digress. 3 laps around, you see the pack of men's runners following the rabbit, the cart. Good shot with the drone and DeVrace Films there. They're making to the turn toward the west. It's a good opportunity for the fans to see this, to see the runners. You can see them multiple times right over there, kind of by the soccer scoreboard. I anticipate the top time around the 24, 25-minute mark or thereabouts. We're 3.5 minutes into this men's 8K race. Dort, the defending champion in this race. They won it last year. USF, a very strong team. NCAA Division II. They were picked to finish 2nd in the preseason poll. In terms of the GPAC and the GPAC teams that are here, Northwestern picked 5th. While Marty picked to finish 6th. Morningside, 9th. Wayne State, 9th in their Northern Sun preseason poll. Just over 4 minutes have gone by in this men's 8K race. In your lead pack is going to be making their way towards the press box area near completion of lap number 1. Again, the course in beautiful shape. The wildflowers in full bloom. You see them with our drone shots. There's a shot of the finish line area. And, of course, Dash the defender. Good shot of Dash. He's got a busy day today, too, he or she. We'll just say Dash. Hey, Dash. Football at 1. Volleyball later on at 3:30 and 5. Back to the course. There you get a shot of the runners as they come by, nearing the start once again, the press box area, and around the bend over to the start area and the long straightaway. Anticipate the lead runners of the men's 5K race in about 24, 25 minutes or so. Live results courtesy of Dakota Timing. USF women hot walk was your individual champion. Jessica Walzak for the defenders, close second. And a tight battle for the team title between USF and Dort. Unofficially, it looked like the last time the live results were on, it looked like USF had it by 2 points, but we'll see. Again, a busy day for the Dort Media Network. This is the first of 3 home events that will be covered by the Dort Media Network. Up next will be a 1 p.m. kickoff for the Defender football team as they take on Mount Marty. And then later on, the Dort Northwestern volleyball match. 3:30 and 5 p.m. are the start times there. In between the races, when we were doing the interview with Micah Koister and Mike Biker, I was checking the individual results for the women. And unofficially, Dort had 7 runners in the top 15. Several PRs it looked like. Among those that PR, Jessica Opfer with an outstanding race today. Opfer, 5th place, PR by close to 30 seconds. Courtney Joyner, Sadie Fike, Samantha Anima, Ella Veldkamp, all with PRs today. Again, unofficially, but that's what it looked like. There's the lead cart as the men. And it looks like it could be USF out in front. 8:55. Ben Morrison looks to have the lead right now. The lead runner for Dort, Daniel Schroeder, right now running in a tie for 4th. There's Aiden Vorster and Peter Shippey, a couple of returning all-conference runners for the Defenders in the top 10. As your lead pack now getting close to the start line upon completion of the very first lap. And here is Mike Biker here to join me. Welcome.
Here I am. Here we are.
Busy day for Defender Athletics.
Yeah, it's been a great day. It's a good start to the morning. We look like might be a little bit of rain moving in before this race is completely over. I'd say another 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes or so is where we're looking at the radar. But yeah, busy day. Starting off early with the cross country today. I think this is year 3 of us covering it in this fashion. I'd have to take a look back through the archives. Maybe you have an idea. How many years have we hosted a meet now at our cross country course?
I think this is year 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was going to guess 2017 or 2018 might have been the first time that we hosted it. Have made a little bit of improvements each year and changes, and we've had to make some changes again with the expansion of campus and the building project that is both taking place and that is going to be happening soon as well. But it's a great, it's a cross-country course only. It's on the prairie. It's not a golf course doubling as a cross-country course. It's just a great place to run an early meet. The wind isn't quite so cold this morning, and for spectators, pretty nice place to be.
And this course is high schools take advantage of it too.
Yeah,
several times throughout the year.
Yeah, Sioux Center High School is going to run their invite out here at the end of September, I believe. I think we may have hosted a Siouxland Conference meet out here as well. There's been talk of, hey, what would it take to, is it possible to run the state qualifiers, what they call it now? I still want to call it districts. They've talked about state qualifying meet. Do they want to run out here as well? And we welcome those opportunities. There are always some hoops to jump through, and you've got to get the right people on board. And we'll just see where it goes from here. I know they're talking about, you see the flags up at the finish line. They're talking about possibly an arch and things like that to really give it maybe that Rimrock Farm feel from Lawrence, Kansas, if anyone's familiar with that with cross country, and just try to give it just another improvement and to help promote cross country.
With the drone footage that we get, our viewers can really see how beautiful this course is. With the wildflowers are blooming, full bloom right now. It's just absolutely gorgeous to have the drone footage and just to be able to show our viewers what it's like here.
Yeah, it's actually a better experience for if you're a cross-country fan and you're not wanting to be here in person for one person or a specific team and you just want to take it in and watch. it's a better vantage point because of that drone footage to be able to follow along, see the lead pack, and see the entire course in effect. If you're here in person, you can run. You can probably pick up 2 or 3 spots, and you're cheering on the runners, and then you're running on to the next spot. But the drone really helps and enhances the coverage. Without the drone, I had this conversation with someone last night. Without the drone coverage, I don't know that we would do the coverage in this fashion. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Not you have other duties. You were running around setting up the interview in between races. Not sure what you saw of the women's race, but it looked like the Defenders as a team second to a very good USF team. A nice showing in the debut for the Defender women.
It looked really like the pack ran very well. We had Jessica out in front, and I want to call her Campman yet, but I know she's married now. It's Jessica Walczyk, correct?
Yes.
And so you saw that pack. Now it's a matter of can that entire pack stay together and move as a pack, because what was it? I think the next 6 or 7 runners really had nice finishes, if not for Sioux Falls being here. You run away with it, and Sioux Falls looks like they've got a very quality program and got some things going on with their program.
There's a picture of the live look-in of the lead pack for the men's race, and it looks like USF, that's Ben Morrison, out in the lead. Lead pack down to 6 now. Thaniel for Dort is there, as is Peter Shippey. So the Defenders with 2 in the top 6, and again, they're about at the halfway point. 12, the clock says 12:20 is the live time, so just under halfway.
Have any idea who's in the yellow jersey running second or third? No, we shifted to a different shot, so
that's Shippey and Thaniel running.
Okay, that was a different shot that I was seeing then. Beg your pardon.
But USF picked to finish second. Talented, very good roster for the USF Cougars. But the men coming off a national championship, and both cross-country teams for the Dort picked to win the conference. They were picked first in the conference, and we've talked about what the schedule, it's got the usual schedule, about every other weekend they're set to compete.
Yeah, I had someone in my office yesterday asking about cross-country schedule. They're not very familiar with it, and they said, is this normal? Do you normally just run every other week? And I said, well, different coaches have different approaches to it. They're more accustomed to the Northwest Iowa high school scene, and where you run a meet every week, and sometimes you run 2 meets in a week. And I said, at this level, you're running a little longer distance, and there is so much more of an emphasis put on the training piece of it. Coaches can control the training for 2 weeks. Then you go out and race, you assess, and you go out for another 2 weeks and train again. So a little different. I said this is just the reality of it. For many high school cross-country teams, they're trying to run their way into shape. The season is you're racing into shape. At this level, to be successful, you have to come in with a certain fitness level, and then it's more of a training and management system than it is racing to get your way into shape.
And you have all eyes on the postseason. You look at the conference meet, and then, of course, hopefully you look further on into the national meet, which is over in Washington. So, yeah, it's all about peaking at the right time, and our coaches do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, and I told this person, I said, the reality is you want to be healthy and you want to be peaking in that second week of November when the conference championship takes place. That's when you really want to be doing well. Unless you are an elite program, then you don't worry about the conference level as much, because you're going to end up at the Nationals. Then you're trying to peak 2 weeks later. The reality is you're trying to peak for a conference title, and then you evaluate, and you might be just trying to hang on once you get to the Nationals, and that's the reality for many teams. Now, if I remember the schedule correctly, and I don't have it in front of me, we run this weekend, and then in 2 weeks it's the split squad, where it's off to Wayne State. Don't have a lot of details on that. Roy Griak, that happens in St. Paul at, Les Bolstad.
Yep.
And there are thousands and thousands of people there. You probably will be making that trip, I anticipate. And then it's Briar Cliff, where you're running on the conference course. And then that Flaming Tiger Classic, I'm guessing that's going to be a fairly competitive race. And you just see the level of importance. Roy Griak is about competing against a very high caliber of opponent. The next race is, what is the conference course? What does that hold, and how do you plan for that? And then from here on, the October 21, the November 4, and obviously November 17, if you make it that far, those are really the ones where it's okay. It's go time, and you've refined your roster, and hopefully you know who you can plan on, and you hope that you've managed injuries and are able to compete well at that point.
Another look at the leaderboard, or leaders there as they come by. They're coming back towards us, toward the soccer press box area. They'll have one more lap to go, the men's 8K race. Anticipate the top time, 24, 25 minutes or so. In terms of roster size, Coach Wolf, both rosters well above 30 runners. And over the years, I assume that number keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, and you look back at the history, and when I first arrived at Dort, I would say that we probably had a dozen, 12 to 15 on each team, and quite honestly, there wasn't the recruiting level that there is now. The people that came, the people who showed up, you ran with them, and that's just the way it was. It has changed, and now there's a competitive nature to it, and Coach Wolf has talked repeatedly about the need for depth in this sport, because you, in all likelihood, are not going to have 7 to 10 healthy top runners every weekend out. You're going to have to rely on those athletes who end up maybe not being able to run at the conference championship meet, but they've got to carry you through some regular season. And you have practice and competitions up to that point to prove yourself. If you want to make it into the top 10, the stopwatch doesn't lie. And so and that's just where it gives you a very good measuring stick for where you're at. And that's the reality of depth, is good runners attract good runners, and good runners push good runners to be better runners. And Coach Wolf has done a great job with that, and I also think he has done a fantastic job of getting his runners to buy into that their identity is not simply in being an athlete and running, but your identity is in you are a reflection on this earth of being like Christ. You fall short, but that is a significant piece of it. The identity is not simply being in a runner, because if that is the case, it's a pretty shallow life.
How do you sustain that? What would part of the journey is to get there, but then now to sustain that level of success.
Hard work. Yeah, the time, the identification. You continue to recruit good athletes who fit in, who are, if they are not where they probably should be spiritually, they're willing at least to grow and to be affected by. And you hope, I mean, you're getting into some deeper conversations here, but it's hard work. You make a lot of calls, you recruit good people, good runners, talented runners. You have a good institution that is solid behind you, that is willing to support you and give you the tools necessary to keep that house in good order, if you will. When you start taking shortcuts, that's when you get burned. I mean, that's the reality of it, and you see that. But there are no shortcuts. There is no easy path. The work is the work. I don't agree with everything Nick Saban says, but the Alabama football coach said, you know what? Sometimes the work is very simply the work, and the work is the reward sometimes.
Look at the two leaders right now. They are on their final lap, coming back towards campus, probably maybe a mile or two left as the two front runners. It's still USF. Not sure who the yellow jersey is. Like to see his bib number, but we're on our last lap, and in terms of time, just at about the 20-minute mark is what we have. The USF individual, I'm pretty sure it's Ben Morrison.
I'm guessing that's an unattached runner. Would you think?
Maybe Brian Santiago. He's
running. That was my guess.
Yeah.
When I saw the stride, Dakota State.
Marty.
Okay. Yeah. He that when I saw him, I wondered if that's who it was.
So we'll say it's the unattached runner, and then USF running 1-2. They're out front right now. What would you say in terms of distance? I think that's probably a mile and a half left.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I was just thinking, how pathetic is my life if I think I'd picked out a runner by his gait. I mean,
I'm impressed, Mike, to be honest.
You hang around long enough.
You see it.
Yep. And he graduated last spring because he ran at the conference championship that we hosted for track and field. That's where I'm remembering him. If I remember right, he ran that was the 5K or 10K and down on the course or on the track, and we were getting photos, and I remember him interacting with Davis Tebben and some of those guys. So Joe Anderson.
First of 3 events on the Dort Media Network.
Yeah, we're going to be busy today. Football's going to kick off at 1 o'clock. You're going to be involved in the press box there as well. We're going to get on the air with pregame at about 12:30, so we'll transition over there. I've been there earlier this morning already doing some setup and getting ready, and we're trying to get things to run as smoothly as possible on a day like today. Sometimes the work is the work, but the victory for us is in, hey, all 3 events, or 4 events in effect, got on the air, and people were able to enjoy them, and we can sleep really easily at night on Saturday night. So football's at 1 o'clock. Junior varsity volleyball is going to get rolling at 3:30, Dort versus Northwestern. And then some of the crew will transition to the varsity match over at volleyball at 5 o'clock. We've actually got 4 separate streaming units that we can deploy. And one of them is the truck that'll be over at the football field. The other is the mini TriCaster system, system number 2, if you will. That's basically home base is soccer throughout the fall. And then as hockey gets into full swing, this transitions over there. And our 3rd and 4th units are very stripped down, but they still do a pretty nice job and able to get the graphics and things like that on those. And that's how we're making it happen today. Some days, back in the old days, I used to run equipment from one spot to the other, and you'd pack it up, you'd throw it in, and you'd get a camera, and you'd get an operator, and you were really crossing your fingers. And I'm just grateful for where we have come as a Dort Media Network. And you see that QR code now on the screen, and if you want to learn how to give or just explore opportunities, you can scan in the QR code there. That'll take you directly to the giving page. Also, if you go to the Dort website, check out advancement or the giving options, and there's all kinds of opportunities if you feel so inclined to do that. But this is it's not a business endeavor, if you will, but it does cost real money. It does cost manpower hours. I mean, you and I devote a fair amount of time to it. Rich Lodewijk obviously spends a lot of time training students and being a part of the comm department. And then our students, they're not volunteers. They are paid student employees gaining real-world experience. And all of those things, it's all great. And we try to churn out a good product, and we will continue to do so. But right now we offer it for free. We want to keep it that way, but there are real costs involved. And that is Brian Santiago, I'm fairly certain.
I think you are right.
Now that we saw the front, I believe that's Brian.
And that is your leader right now as they come by. One more, this is the last time. They'll head toward the finish line area. A pack of about 5 runners. Aiden Vorster right now for Dort has moved up into 3rd. He's the top defender runner, but Santiago, your leader.
So he won't count in the scoring, so that's he's unattached.
Yep. And then it's USF, but then Vorster for the defenders.
Yep. That's a nice race for him.
Aiden Vorster, national qualifier a year ago, returning all conference. I know that he turned in a lot of miles. Peter Shippey.
Peter looks strong.
Yeah.
He looks, I mean, he was coming last year during the cross-country season, but just the jolt of confidence I think that performance at the national meet gave him then and that's what I love to see, the fact that all that hard work paid off for him, because you can work awfully hard sometimes and it doesn't pay off, and you're just thankful for the opportunities when it does.
And he's a guy that's coming off, he was injured as a freshman, and he's battled back, and what a season he had last year, both in cross country and track.
He and Nathaniel Schrader, I think, are 2 great examples of they trusted the coaches, they trusted them, and they may not have always agreed, or Peter finishing strong. He can will himself, he can sustain so much pain, I think.
Yes.
And he can just finish. I mean, if it's a kick race at the end, he's probably going to catch 1 or 2 people, and he did there again. But Nathaniel and Peter, they trusted their coaches. They may not have. I'm sure there were times where they were thinking, I don't know, but they kept doing it, and they really broke through last year. that's a credit to them and their coaches. I mean, stay in the course.
Brian Santiago, the unattached runner, 24:55. Craig Becker, who transferred to our program, was second. I don't know if he ran attached or not. I don't know if he was wearing a Dort jersey, but Craig Becker, it's only a matter of time before, if he didn't run today, he will be running for us this year.
Now, he's a middle distance guy that's kind of stretching out to, or maybe we're finding out he was a distance guy that ran middle distance. Remains to be seen.
I know at the time trial early in the year, he was the one that won it for the Dort men, but that was a 2-mile time trial. But he was strong there and a strong showing today.
Coach Wolf said after that, he said, well, it was only 2 miles. I said, well, my experience is if you can't run 2 miles fast, you probably can't run 6 miles fast. So that was my reply to Coach Wolf. And every once in a while, I've got to give him a little dose of reality on that stuff. But me and my vast running background, you know.
Nathaniel Schrader with a 7th place finish.
I'll let you squeeze in there
4.
if you want to get it.
Just going to look. Looks like Dort's got 4 in the top 10 with Becker in second, Shippey 4, Vorster 5, Schrader 7th. Chase Camp for the Defenders, a sophomore from New Mexico with a nice race. Top
Sam May.
14, Sam May from Orange City.
Yeah, good day.
Got a good group of sophomores, Coach Wolf says, and they are guys that came in as freshmen, and there's some adjustments with the increase in miles, and Coach Wolf expecting big things from that sophomore group.
And it's good to see them get a little taste. I mean, it's hard to keep running races and training if you never have a little taste of success, and so I hope that they can see that some of that work is paying off and all the miles are paying off, and it certainly looks like a great day today. Sam May, a time of 26:24. I'm curious, when you start breaking things down, what his time was on this course last year coming in as a freshman. So, yeah, it's turning into a great day, and it looks like we're going to beat the rain too, so that's how I begin to look at some of these days, is did we get on the air and did it rain? But it's going to be a great day. Women are going to finish second, and the men, I think it certainly looks like they've got a chance at first place. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, the results won't get official for a while. If it's like the women's race, they're just going to continue to rotate, so we're no need to really declare Dort a champion or where we finished, but nice showing. Runners are continuing to come down the home stretch. Good to see a lot of fans here. Kind of expected that, but it's nice to be running on your home course and getting the student body and fans out here to support the runners.
Okay, I think I'm going to head out.
Okay.
I'm going to head over to football. We probably have some people arriving in the press box up there, and I'll see you in about an hour or so.
You bet. Thanks, Mike. That was Mike Biker joining me for the broadcast here as the runners will continue to finish down the straightaway here. Dakota timing. We have a link on our website. You can follow along on the live results unofficially. Brian Santiago, formerly of Mount Marty, running unattached, used up his eligibility, but pretty good race. 24:55 for Santiago. Joe Anderson has the course record set last year, 24:19 for Joe. Craig Becker, 25:02 second. Ben Morrison, he led earlier in the race. Ben Morrison from USF, 25:08. And then pair of Dort runners, Peter Shippey, Aiden Vorster, 25:08, 25:10. Shippey with a late kick. Coaches often say that you're not going to outkick Peter Shippey. And he did it again today. Overtaking Vorster down the home straightaway in the finish chute, if you will. Got a 4th place finish for Shippey. I think we're going to take a break for a little bit, and then we'll just come back, and hopefully the results will be official, and then we'll call it. So we'll take a break. We'll come back with more from the Dort Media Network in a moment. Back on the campus of Dordt University, the men's 8K race wrapping up. The second and final race. Results still compiling. Unofficially, Brian Santiago, 24:55 is your winner. Craig Becker from Dordt, 25:02. A newcomer, a transfer sophomore. Ben Morrison from USF was third, followed by two runners, Peter Shippey and Aiden Vorster from Dordt, fourth and fifth. Rounding out the top 10, Caleb Rivera of USF was sixth. Daniel Schroeder from Dordt, seventh. McCade Shumway of Sioux Falls of USF in eighth. Another USF runner, Christian Leitz, was ninth. And Titus Kiptu of Wayne State rounds out the top 10 finishers on the men's side. Team results still compiling. Early on, it looked like Dordt is going to be your winner, followed by USF, but they're still updating as we speak, so we're not going to go and declare it a win for the Defender men. The Dordt women's a close second right behind USF in the team standings. Dordt men 21 points right now. USF second, 37. Morningside tentatively third. Looking at the results, continuing with Dordt runners. Chase Camp, 26-21 for the sophomore. And that is a big PR, over a minute PR for Chase Camp. Sam May right behind him at 26-24, just off his PR. Tage Holstein right behind him, 26-26. Up next for the Defenders, Luke Swanson, 26-53 for Luke, which would be a PR for Luke. Levi Landman, Derek Vanderleest. Next across the finish line, Isaac Davalar, freshman from Sioux Falls, coming in. So those are some of the top runners for Dordt as the results continue to come in. And in terms of the audio production and the audio piece, I think we're going to wrap things up here shortly. Rain starting to fall. Mike said that the rain was coming, and it looks like it's starting to come. The award ceremony will take place over by the finish line area. But because of our other responsibilities for the Dort Media Network, we got to get set up over at football for the 1 p.m. kickoff. So we're not going to have the awards on the live stream on the Dort Media Network. Nice shot by DeVries Films there. And, yeah, we didn't need to see that, but that's okay. All right. That kind of completes the cross-country event today, as the women and the men's race are now complete. It's going to do it for the cross-country broadcast on the Dort Media Network. Thank you for joining us this morning. Up next on the Dort Media Network, it'll be a 1 p.m. kickoff pregame at around 12:30 on the Dort Media Network as Dort plays host to Mount Marty in GPAC football. This is Matt the SID signing off.